Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Soulful Eclectic. I am none other than your host, Dr. Diana Collins, and I want to welcome you to today's episode. As you all saw, there is a trigger warning for this episode. Yes, I needed to warn everybody. And you know what? That's something I think I'm just going to do because I know we all have triggers. Just about everything we talk about these days is going to trigger somebody. I've come to that conclusion. So, for today's episode, I definitely put up a trigger warning because I feel like there may be some things that may be a little triggering to others. So, therefore, definitely a trigger warning for today. As we all know, I always start off with thanking you all. Thank you for being a part of the Soulful Eclectic. If this is the first time that you're joining us, well, thank you for taking the time to join us. But if you are coming back, I just want to say welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And thank you to all of you for rocking with me and doing all these crazy things that I am known to do, and you guys have been rocking and flowing and just being present, and I appreciate you, and I just want to say thank you. So welcome again to this episode. You all are all such beautiful souls. So thank you and welcome to this episode of the Soulful Eclectic with none other than your host, Dr. Diana Collins. As I said, today's episode does come with a trigger warning. Today's episode is a strong one. But before I get there, today's episode is made possible by our incredible sponsors, Divine Nubian Essentials, loving the skin that you're in, and Collins Education and Resource Management, where education is truly their passion. We like to thank author Reggie Dupree for her lovely rendition of none other than fantasy and love and carnage that includes all of us from every walk of life in Hoodoo Heaven, Return to Hoodoo, Mystical Midlife Mate, and the newest one, Midlife Gumbo. I love it because it just speaks to my soul. And I haven't read Midlife Gumbo yet. It is on my read to do list. And I want to also thank, why can I talk? I want to also thank WUBI, Ubiquity Radio and TV. If you haven't downloaded your app or downloaded the app on your radio, your TV, Roku only right now, please do so. The station is up and running, and we have DJs and new videos and movies coming on, and none other than our lovely podcast and show are on WUBI, Ubiquity Radio and TV, so do join in. Thank you to Luna Vitality Travel Massage. If you're looking for a massage and you're on the East Coast, in that DMV area, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, even New Jersey, reach out to Luna Vitality Travel Massage. She gives great massages and do tip her very well. Thank you very much. So thank you all for all of you and your continued support in your spaces where healing and education and empowerment all come together. And oh my gosh, I just stuck my finger in my coffee. That's what I was supposed to be reaching for it, and I stuck my finger in it, and I made a little bit of a mess. So please excuse me. Anyways, back to it because again, y'all know I can go off on a tangent easy. So today, I just want to talk a little bit. There's some key points that we're going to touch on, and I'm just going to share all those key points with you as I go on, but I'm just going to say them right now. So we're going to talk about a little bit about understanding domestic violence beyond those stereotypes, right? Beyond the stereotypes. So one of the main stereotypes is it only happens to poor people. I've heard that. I've heard stereotypes is it only happens if you allow it and you accept it. The other one is, oh my gosh, there's so many. When it happens to poor people, oh gosh, what's the other one? It only happens. It doesn't happen in same-sex relationships. It doesn't happen. That's another one that I've heard. So I just want to say abuse is not limited to gender or orientation. It's not limited to socioeconomical status. It's not limited to emotional, financial, psychological, or spiritual. It's not limited by age. Definitely not limited by age, right? So we got to need to understand domestic violence beyond those stereotypes. So when I say abuse is not limited by gender or orientation. So as I just mentioned, there's sometimes that stereotype that's domestic violence doesn't happen in same-sex relationships, which is totally bogus. It does. Domestic violence doesn't happen to men. BS. It does. The thing is, men don't talk about it because they're afraid of that other stereotype and stigma that men are supposed to be macho, machismo. They're supposed to be strong, always the one, carrying the family, that they don't get abused. And that's pure garbage. Men get abused all the time. Now, granted, the statistics may not be as high as it is for women, but men do suffer in suffer from domestic violence. It can be in many forms, and I will discuss those forms too. But men, please do not dare say men do not go experience domestic violence, because there are some men that do. They are, and sometimes it can be just because he does not want to exude that strength and be the aggressor in the relationship. So because that is truly a possibility as well. We know that, there's this statistic. I don't know who. I was watching someone, and please, I'm sorry for the young lady who said it, but I do like to give people credit for the things they say. And right now, I can't remember her name, but I follow her on Instagram, and she always has such powerful messages. And in light of October being not only breast cancer, which we're going to talk about that in another episode, but also about October is domestic violence. And so I just want to really discuss a little bit about that and talk about the things that transpire within in that, and how to help one another who may be living with it, dealing with it, and maybe acknowledging some ways in identifying it as well. So again, as I stated in the beginning, abuse is not just limited by gender or orientation. Yes, it did happen to predominantly women. We were the brunt because we are seen as the weaker sex. And if you know your statistics about women's history, or just the history of the nation in general, you will know that women did not get their rights until 1974, when, and there's some more. I mean, 1973, when we were allowed to go out and go to school and things, but 1974, when we were allowed to have our own bank accounts and things. And as you can see from that, if you look at the trajectory of marriage and divorce, divorce was lower in the 20s and 30s, because women stayed, because we had no rights to do anything. So we had to be married to get rights, right? So we stayed during the abuse, and during those times, it was okay to beat your wife. It was okay to murder your wife. You didn't get a hand slap for things like that. It was seen as, oh, well, she must have said something out of turn, or been out of place. So yes, there is that, right? and we have come a great stride, even though we are being taken back many steps these coming years. And I'm not going to go into our lovely administration that is currently in office. I'm going to stay away from that today. But yes, but there's that, right? The different types of abuse. So we see it in sorry, I'm going to go back because I forgot my train of thought there. Now, so that's abuse in women. So we do see abuse in men as well. It's usually in men who don't want to exude that strength and dominate the woman. It is seen as men who are a lot kinder, or gentler, or just don't. Again, I don't want to make the sex weaker or make you think, oh, it's a weak man. No, it's really just men who are in tune with themselves and just like don't want to harm the other person, and so forth. They absorb the abuse. They take it because they're the man. They are strong. They're supposed to be able to do that. So they take their woman beating on them and things like that. So it has nothing to do with strength, weak, being a more feminine man. None of that. None of that. Because I'm going to say this. I know men who can probably and has knocked out quite a few big men who would allow someone else of a weaker sex to beat on them, because they know if one swing and they would harm them beyond what they expected, and that will hurt them more than anything. So it has nothing to do with the person being weak-minded, weak in strength. None of that. Okay. So please, no. It's just that again, they allow that dominance because they don't want to harm the other. So therefore they take the brunt of that. And that's still considered domestic violence, people. There's domestic violence in same-sex relationships. Okay. Don't think because, I'm going to be with a man and I'm a man, we're going to understand each other. No, there's still violence. Same with women and women. There's still domestic violence, okay? And we still should treat it the same. We still should provide that level of safety of their lives in that, no matter who it is that's putting their hands on them. If we can protect our children, we can protect our seniors and our elderly, then we should be able to protect one another as well. And we should be able to report it without be feeling judged or stigmatized by it. So the different types of domestic violence that is out there, right? We have emotional. I definitely was a victim of emotional and financial and psychological domestic violence. My children were victims of psychological and emotional domestic violence. And so, it's still domestic violence, even though I don't wear the physical pain and or my children don't wear the physical pain. We still have the mental pain, the mental trauma that goes with it, and the PTSD that goes with it. So it's still something that should be dealt with and seek treatment for. So again, emotional, financial, and psychological, right? And then you have spiritual abuse. And we're seeing that too more and more today, the spiritual abuse from the church, from within the families and things like that. Those are real. Those are as real as physical abuse. Just putting that out there. Okay. There are many ways we can see it. Sometimes we don't recognize it. Sometimes, we're scared to say something when we do see it because, again, people stay and, they're in relationships. They have things happening and they stay for different reasons. And it's not knocking anyone for why they stay. Okay. Nothing. No. Because it's not for me to say why you stay. Okay. That is something that you have to work with, and people leave when they have the ability to leave. Let me just say that. So when we hear domestic violence, we all almost often go to that physical harm. But the truth is, abusers, they wear so many faces, so many, right? So many. Like I said, emotional, they can be sitting there berating the person, separating you from your family, right? That's psychological and emotional, both. Financial, they're holding you hostage by money, right? Either they're taking all your money or they're not allowing you to make your own money, and then you're relying on them for your sustainability in your life, right? Because you don't have, and that's pretty much what a lot of women dealt with um, up until 1974 when we were allowed to get our own bank accounts and own our own homes and things like that. And that's only as a woman. Let's not even, I mean, we delve into a whole different arena when we talk about being a woman of color, a woman from another country. Yeah, that's a whole different ball game. So we still, again, and that's another tangent, but financial abuse, spiritual abuse, um, holding you hostage by saying that you'll go to hell if you divorce me, God won't like this. So spiritual abuse that way. And we see that a lot too in the church. And there's also sexual. You're my wife. Whether you want to have sex or not, we're going to do it. You're my husband. Whether you want to touch me or have sex or not, we're going to do it. That's sexual abuse, using that person for your sexual gain because of under the rouse that you're married, that's your spouse, and you have a right to that person. No one has a right to any human being. Wait, blank point. No one has a right to any human being. It can show up like manipulation. We see that a lot, and that also goes into the psychological part. We see a lot of manipulation with narcissistic individuals, narcissistic personalities. If you guys are out there who have psych background, you guys have experienced that, and you're aware of that as well. Control. Oh, that's a big one. Control. They limit where you can go, what you can do. They got trackers on now. It's easier because they can put trackers on your phone. They can put trackers in those little air tags that they have now. They can drop them in your bags and you won't even know that you got an air tag. Which I learned that if you have an iPhone, it picks it up or something. I don't know. It's something weird. But it'll acknowledge that there's an air tag in its vicinity or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't use air tags. Yeah, no, I don't. So that's a form of control as well. Again, like I said, separating you from your family, which is isolation, and also that can be seen as that goes with control too, isolation and control, right? I mean, because they're isolating you from your family, so that's kind of exuding that control too. So that goes hand in hand. So yeah, so we see that a lot. So yeah, we do see a big portion of it being physical. That's when they get to the ER and they're seen there or the doctor's office. But we forget about all those other ones that go unseen and unreported, right? That abuse. Abuse is guys, abuse is not love. But love It's supposed to make you happy. It's supposed to put this like unknown smile and joy in your face, and you have a glow. You got a pep in your step. You look forward to seeing that person when you get home. You don't want to be separated from that person, and you just want to talk to them and tell them every part of your day. That to me is love. Love doesn't silence you, okay? Love doesn't make you shrink and make you small, like you don't belong, or that you're not enough. That's not love. Love is not supposed to hurt you. Not like that. So whether you're a man or a woman or in a same-sex relationship, abuse can affect your life. It can touch your life, and it does not discriminate. Okay? It does not. It just looks different. And we just have to look a little harder to identify it. It's still there. Right? So when we talk about identifying it, we talked about a little bit about that piece of what domestic violence really is, right? It can happen to men, women, it doesn't matter, same sex relationships, it doesn't matter. It can happen in the Black community, white community, Asian community, Hispanic community. It doesn't matter where you are. It can happen in all forms. If you're human in a relationship, you have the potential of having a domestic violence situation. You're not exempt. You can be rich, poor, doesn't matter. Okay. It does not discriminate. It does not have boundaries. Okay. It shows up as not only physical, financial, emotional, psychological, spiritual, sexual, anything is causing you harm, and you feel like if you don't do it, that other person's going to harm you or belittle you, berate you, then that's domestic violence. If you're being told you can't do something, money's being held from you because, you didn't behave accordingly. Yeah, no, that's abuse. That's financial abuse. Okay. So how do we recognize these signs? I'm just going to go through a few because there are many ways, and it depends on the individual. How well you know the person, how quick it's going to depend on how quickly you'll be able to identify the signs outside of the obvious black eye, bruises, those kind of things. So sometimes abuse hides in like plain sight, right? It might sound like, I don't know, you don't need to see your friends today, or why is your mother calling you all the time? Do you have to talk to your sister every day? What does your brother have to come visit? They don't have to come visit, or you're always going to their family, right? You can come see my family. Oh, my family is your family now. Oh, don't worry. All finding ways to isolate you from your friends and family. Always asking me who you're texting and why you're texting. Now, this one kind of goes either way because honestly, my husband asks me all the time, who are you texting? But that's because he wants to spend quality time together, right? So please differentiate between somebody who wants you to engage and other with them outside of someone trying to monopolize who it is that you're talking to and who you're texting. So if they're getting mad that you're texting your friends or all the time or your family and constantly are looking through your phone, and that's to me starting to look suspect. A little sus, as they say, right? Kind of making you feel like you'll never find anyone like them, like they're the best thing since sliced bread and toast. No. Those kind of things. It might feel like you're always walking on eggshells and you can't truly be yourself. You're constantly being questioning about things. You're questioning stuff about yourself and how your self-worth, and you're fearing having conversations because you don't know how the other person is going to react. Okay. It's kind of like when control replaces care. That's not love. They guise it. They put it under the guise of I love you. No. I just want to know where you're going because I love you. I just don't want you to go because I'm trying to keep you from getting hurt. You don't need to go there. Let's do it together. That kind of thing. In same-sex relationships, unfortunately, abuse can be harder. Survivors might fear being outed by their family if they're not out yet, if they're still, living, two different lives, right? So that's one thing that they hold. Oh, your family don't know you out. Keep playing with me, right? Don't do what I say. I'm gonna let them know that you sleeping with me. Come on now. They were scared to be judged. They don't want to be. They don't want to not be believed. That's a big one too. Yeah. Because what happens? Oh, when two women are in a relationship and one's being abusive, oh, y'all just having a little tiff right now, a little girl fight. You guys will make up. You always do. No, don't belittle it like that. That's not fair, right? And for men, we know there's a culture of silence. Men don't cry, right? There's a false narrative out there that men can't be victims. But we know pain is not gendered. Pain is pain. Whether you're man, woman, child, young, old, pain is pain. And we're seeing more and more domestic violence in our youth, in our teens as well. We need to have them speak up as well. And our parents need to listen and see what's happening to our children because they're experiencing it earlier and earlier on because these individuals who are living in the household with children who are abusing their spouses, their children see it and they grow up in it and thinking that that's okay. And then they continue the cycle of abuse. Everyone out here deserves safety. Everyone deserves to be believed. Come on. I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to take a break on that one. Because now I want to talk about healing. So how about we take a bio break real quick? Yeah, I'm going to clean up the coffee mess that I made because I did make a mess. It's a little bit of a mess. So I'm going to clean up my coffee mess. And I'm going to talk about healing because we know domestic violence, again, has no name, no face, no age, no sex. It just is what it is. It has no socioeconomical bounds. And it rears its ugly head in so many of our households, so many. And I don't think a lot of us realize, I'm a healthcare practitioner. It wasn't until I woke up. And I'm saying woke up as far as like realizing the damage that was being done to my children and myself. And I'm like, we need to stop this. Okay. But there was no one around me to say otherwise because what we do, we smile through it. Everything is fine. Check on that person that says everything is fine. Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. Check on them. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to take a break.
Y'all doing? I would like to welcome you to a show exclusively on WUBI Ubiquity Radio every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. My name is Rob C., and while taking your cruise, you will hear the very best in smooth jazz, smooth R&B, classic soul, as well as other genres that definitely define the very essence of smooth. I personally invite you to come aboard, and while you're here, grab your favorite beverage, turn up the volume, and have a seat as we set sail on this musical journey for your listening pleasure. You can find us at WUBI.live, or depending if you have an Apple or Android device, go to your app store and download our free WUBI app. Take care, and as always, enjoy your cruise, y'all.
Oh, I done played the wrong commercial, but it's okay. It's okay. So I can find the right one. That's the kind of day we having at the Soulful Eclectic right now. Ooh, child. All right, let me find the right commercial so I can take a real break and figure out what I'm doing with my life. And life is amazing. So it's not even anything negative. I am doing great. Life is great. I'm just gonna try to clean up this coffee mess that I made on the floor, because I don't want to invite critters like ants in my house. Because yeah, I know even though today is a cool day, and I don't think that's a possibility. I don't want to leave it up to chance that it will happen. But anyways, so yeah, I guess I'm not going to locate the proper commercial right now. That's just where I am right now with life. So I guess I'll continue on with our conversation. I mean, what the hell not? Actually, here we are. Oh, that.
I would like to welcome you to a show that is called Cruise with Rob C, exclusively on WUBI Ubiquity Radio every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. My name is Rob C, and while taking your cruise, you will hear the very best in smooth jazz, smooth R&B, classic soul, as well as other genres that definitely define the very essence of smooth. I personally invite you to come aboard, and while you're here, grab your favorite beverage, turn up the volume, and have a seat as we set sail on this musical journey for your listening pleasure. You can find us at WUBI.live, or depending if you have an Apple or Android device, go to your app store and download our free WUBI app. Take care, and as always, enjoy your cruise, y'all.
I am the Disco Bee.
I am the Alpha Male.
I am Benjamin Grimm, and we host,
From a Queen's perspective,
the seasoned gentleman.
the host of the Love Jones Cafe.
we are the Love Jones Cafe.
The Love Jones Cafe.
We are the Love Jones Cafe.
Love Jones. Love Jones. Love Jones. Love Jones.
Hey everyone, Dr. Diana Collins here with the Soulful Eclectic, a podcast about being your authentic self and maintaining your health and wellness, brought to you by Divine Nubian Essentials, Love the Skin You're In, and also Collins Education Resource Management, where healthcare education is our passion. If you're looking for a new read, check out our friend Reggie Dupree in Hoodoo Heaven, Return to Hoodoo, and Mystical Midlife Mate, because everything is happening in Hoodoo, brought to you by WUBI Ubiquity Radio and TV. If you have not downloaded your app on Roku or Apple or Google Play, do so right away. The Soulful Eclectic can be found every Friday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on all your podcast streaming platforms, WUBI Ubiquity Radio and and TV. So see you soon. Namaste.
Welcome back, guys. Officially, welcome back. Sorry. I cleaned up my mess. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. You know what? It's okay though. It's all right. I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate you being here, and thank you for just taking the time out and just being present. But so talking about what it is what domestic violence is, and the many faces of it, because there are many faces of it. It's not limited to gender, socioeconomic status, or same sex. It's not limited to anyone. If you're human, you're at risk of being in a relationship at some point. I'm not saying that everyone is, because I definitely know people who've never been and it's not like it's a rite of passage. Hell no. I wouldn't want any of that for anyone. I want us to all be kind to one another and treat everyone like human beings, of course. So no, I wouldn't want that. But I'm saying that you're not exempt. It's definitely something that you're not exempt from. Recognizing the signs of it. Again, it can hide in plain sight. It is not always physical for the individual. So definitely being able to reach out to your friends, checking in on those individuals who we know are always okay and, doing their thing, and just recognizing it. Okay. So how do we heal from this? Starting that healing, because I'm continuing on my healing journey. It's a continuous thing, and I am so blessed and grateful for the path that I am on as far as healing in this journey, and it is beautiful. It was a little rocky as you start, because it's scary, it's change, it's vulnerability, right? Because you're telling your truth, and you're not sure who's going to believe and accept your truth. So you're putting everything out there, and you're being your authentic self in that space, and you're acknowledging that you are enough and that you've had enough. And that's one of the things I have to tell people. Even though we may, like, I've seen and recognized domestic violence in people that I know, well, and I say I know loosely, like people that are, some people I know well, some people that I just meet and it's like, that looks a little suspect, right? So I recognize it, but you also have to recognize where the person is. Not everyone is ready for that conversation. So be careful that even though you see it, and you're there, just continue to be the safe space for that person, so that when they are ready to have that conversation, they're willing to come to you and have that conversation with you, because they feel you're a safe space. Okay? Don't be pushy and say, you got to leave that person. This is that. You deserve better, blah, blah, blah. We want to always fix someone's problem. And I'm just speaking for myself, because I'm that fixer. I see a problem. I'm like, I want to be the one to help fix it and heal it and, help you move on. That's not our place. That's not our journey. That's for them to do. So it has to be on their terms, their way, and they'll let you know when they're ready. And one signs that I notice personally, when people are ready, whether it's myself or, when I was living in it, or I recognize it now in others, they talk about it more. They really let you know what's happening. That okay, I'm okay becomes, yeah, it's a rough day. That means they want you to ask more, to see where your caring is coming from. I'm tired, I'm run down, I need a break. when they start really addressing that they need a break, they need to step away. And when they start stepping away, you start to see them change from the person they are when they're away from their abuser to when they are with their abuser. You see some change. Just some little insights that I've learned, both as a survivor, I wouldn't say survivor, being triumphant, right? Being victorious through it. And also someone who, as a healthcare professional, who is trained and learns and continues to learn how to recognize it in patients and individuals as well. Okay, that's just some of the simplest of signs. They start to open up more. They talk more. They try to get away a little bit more. Right? They ask you more about your life and your relationship sometimes, just to kind of compare to see if what they're going through is really normal, the normal relationship. That starts to tell you that they're ready not only to talk about it, but they're thinking about leaving, and if not, have a plan to leave. And then they're opening and waiting for that door to heal for something better. Right? The one thing I didn't mention, because it just came to me, is be careful of those individuals that have weapons in the house. One of the questions for us as practitioners is in recognizing domestic violence is asking if there are weapons in the house. Where are they located? Do you have access to them? Do the other person have access to them? You know, it's not just, or do the kids have access? Because that's a big one too, right? But also, if you're in a domestic violence situation, who has access to these weapons? Now, if you say there's weapons in the house and you don't have access to it, that starts my wheels turning. Because why don't you have access? Why is that other person the only one that has access to the weapons in the house? That to me is suspect. I don't know if it's suspect to somebody else, but it's suspect to me. Just saying. So let's talk about a little bit about healing before we wrap up. Healing begins again when you start having that conversation, when you believe your own story, like this is happening to you, and when you stop minimizing what you've been through. And believe me, I'm the queen of minimization in my book. And there might be somebody else who owns the crown too. And there might be a tribe of us that own crowns in different segments of the world and time who are the queens of minimalization. I will minimalize the biggest thing. And once what happens is once that person stops minimalizing it, they realize what they are going through is real and that they need to change. Once you realize it's not your fault, because that's one thing too, they quick to put the blame. Well, it's your fault. You make me talk to you like that. It's your fault. You don't make enough money, so I can't give you anymore. It's your fault. I don't make enough money, so you have to give me more money. It's your fault. Okay. When you start to realize that you did not deserve this and that you are enough, that's when you know that the healing process is beginning and you're ready to heal. I urge individuals to seek out therapy, support groups. Prayer is good, but if you're under spiritual warfare, be careful who you have praying for you. I'm just saying. If you're under spiritual attack, be careful of who is praying for you. As you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of years back, actually the first season of the Soulful Eclectic, when I started October, we had women and men come on sharing their stories on how they were triumphant through abuse. And one of of my dear friend Sabrina Cowan, who, if you would like to go back and hear her story, it's on the earlier season where there's no video, it's just all audio. Earlier seasons of the Soulful Eclectic, where she tells her story of how she was ousted from the church for her relationship, for her failed marriage and the abuse. She was under spiritual warfare, spiritual abuse. You know, turn the whole church against you, the pastor included. So that's why I mean, be careful who you have praying for you, especially if you're under spiritual warfare. Have creative outlets. Yeah. Find your creative outlet. I started painting again. I started writing again. That was my creative outlet. Yeah. Started going to shows again. Taking the kids to shows again. I don't know why my nose is itching, but that's creative. That's your creative outlet. So find a creative outlet, no matter what it is. It could be starting a book club or going to a book club, going to a different bookstore every now and again in different areas of town. I love doing that. Okay, that's one of my favorite things. If ever you want to meet new people, I tell anyone this, especially if you feel like you're in a rut and you got the same circle of things that you're doing and you want to just meet new people, go to a different town in the state you live in and go to a local bookstore and coffee shop and meet the people in that town. Just that's just one of my big things. I used to go to like little coffee shops when I lived upstate New York. So I lived in Troy, New York. I would go to Albany and go to different little like coffee houses and listen to folk music. And, you know, people will come from Vermont and play the guitar and things like that. That's what I would do. And I would meet different people and it was great. It was great. So that was one of my creative outlets. All right. So it's just all these things could be leading you to the path of wholeness and recovery and being your best self again. Because you were your best self, right? You had to be. You had to be your best self when you met this person. Otherwise, that person wouldn't have been attracted to you to try to break you down from your best self. So you were your best self. You know how to get to your best self. Now you just got to get back there, right? Same, right? Being your best self, getting back to wholeness. Okay. And healing doesn't mean that you're forgetting. No. I know some people say, I just want to forget. I want to forget. Sometimes you still need that scar. You still need that scar as a reminder so you don't go back there. So healing doesn't mean that you're forgetting. It means remembering who you are beyond the pain. And some of us have to find who we are beyond the pain. Learn who you are again. I am fortunate enough to have been found by my husband. I was found, that was my daughter calling. I was found by my husband, and which was great. You know, it was great. He found me and we found each other. We rescued each other, and that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So it just means that you're remembering who you are beyond the pain, and you're growing in another section of your life, another chapter. You are a book. The things you have gone through are chapters in your life. And as we know, chapters end and new ones begin. This is a new chapter, and you are the author of your story. You can write it however you want. All right. And just for those of you who are out there, if you're supporting someone who is in an abusive relationship, or has been, listen with compassion. You don't have to understand what they've been through. It's not for you to judge that you should have left sooner and you didn't see that as strange, or that's not for you to question. And by no means, honestly, I personally don't want to talk to someone who's going to tell me that, oh, you should have recognized that. That's a red flag right there for me. That tells me that's the person I don't want to confide in and I don't want to talk to. It's not for you to understand. It's not for the other person to tell you what you should have, would have, could have done, or what they should have, would have, and could have done. And no, because they're not you. They weren't in that situation. So we could all have Billy Badass attitude about what we would have done if it was me. Oh, that wouldn't have been me. Okay, yes, great. But it was me. And here we are. Okay? So don't judge. Don't push. No. Just be that safe space for their truth. Just be that safe space for their truth. Yeah. So, I'm going to leave it at that. Because like I said, this is all a lot, and it's closing out on Domestic Violence Month, and I just want to share that and to be to reflect on those things and to have that conversation, because I didn't in the beginnings of the month. We had other things going on, and so I wanted to close out the month talking about domestic violence and just healing from it, what it looks like, and let's protect each other and be kind to one another. So when thinking about the conversation, some reflective thoughts that I have were, think about this one, guys. What does safety feel like in my body and in my relationship? So if you're in a relationship, and if you're in a relationship with yourself, with someone else, it doesn't matter, okay? Because yes, people can be in a relationship with themselves. Think about what safety feels like to you in your body, what it feels like to you in your relationship. Think about, have you ever mistaken control for care? Oh, they just care about me. That's why they want to know where I'm going all the time. Oh, they just care about me because they don't want me to get hurt. So I'm not going to go do that exercise, hang out with my friends because they're doing something that, they were right. I could really hurt myself. Have you? What boundaries do you need to honor for your peace? What boundaries do you need to honor for your peace? And what boundaries do you need others to honor for your peace? Right? You guys can write these down. And you know what? I'll also include them in the show notes. I'll actually, when I go back through the show, I'll write them down and put them in the show notes. The other thing is, what does love mean to you? When it's healthy, when it's patient and kind, what does love mean to you? Yeah, I like that one. So I can't leave you without my mantras and affirmations because I love you and I just want to share those with you. So take a deep breath in. Let it out. I deserve peace in my heart and safety in my home. Love should never make me small. My story is sacred. My survival is strength. I release shame. I release the shame that was never mine to carry. I am free to love and live without fear. Those are your mantras and your affirmations from me. So, with that, abuse thrives in silence. Healing begins when we speak our truth and believe it. Okay? You're not what happened to you. You are you are what you choose to become after. You're not what happened to you, but you are what you choose to become after. And you know what I say about choices, right? With choices, we have an infinite number of them. So, with that, wow, I just want to thank you all for sharing this sacred space with me today. And remember, love should never hurt, and healing is your birthright. Thank you again and again and again to our sponsors, Divine Nubian Essentials, because we're loving the skin we're in. That is what it's all about. And everyone who has skin is in. And thank you to Collins Education Resource Management, where education is our passion. If you are diving into healthcare education, whether it's nursing, medical assistant, nursing assistant, LPN, whatever, they're there for you. Thank you to our friend, our author, Reggie Dupree with Hoodoo Heaven, Return to Hoodoo, and Mystical Midlife Mates, and Midlife Gumbo. For any of you who are in that midlife, this is a read for you. It's fun. I love it. And thank you to WUBI Ubiquity Radio and TV for putting us on and keeping us on. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're going to continue to rock with you. And Luna Vitality. Ooh, I don't know why I have the hardest time saying vitality. And thank you to Luna Vitality Travel Massage. We will let you know when they come to Tucson, and not just Tucson. I'm saying like Tucson, but Tucson and the surrounding area, okay? Because they do travel. But right now they're in the DMV area, so, and also Jersey and PA, should you decide to go there as well. So again, until next time, be gentle with yourself, stay aware, and keep choosing peace. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Namaste.